Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of Impact Makers. And today we're just going to bring you right into a conversation that Dustin and I like to have. In hindsight, we always say we should have hit record. So I was thinking ahead for today and said, hey, let's just hit record ahead. Dustin has no idea what we're going to talk about, but what we're going to talk about is my recent ski trip. So some of you that know me and know us know that I go out into the mountains a couple times a winter and hit the slopes. And one of those trips is with my family, which includes my daughter. Now, unfortunately, this year I wasn't able to participate much on the mountain because I have a shoulder injury that I'm having to deal with. But I still went with the family, and they had a great time on a new mountain. They had great conditions, and I was reminded of how you help new skiers. My daughter's not that new, but it reflected me back to one of our very first times out in the mountain when I knew she could handle bigger terrain, but she was getting herself nervous. And so I asked her the question, why is it that you think you can't go over there? And she would say, well, I can't see what's over there. And so then I taught her how to expand into new terrain and always know where your out is. So fast forward half dozen years, she's a phenomenal skier. They were having a great time, but I was curious that she wasn't trying some newer, bigger lines. I thought going out there, she was going to want to do that. My cousin and my brother were doing them, and she wasn't. And so I asked some questions, and my aunt and uncle were choosing not to do the big lines, and Morgan was choosing to go with them instead of with my cousin and brother, so her uncle. And I was just curious. So I asked my cousin and brother, hey, are those lines that something Morgan can handle? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. She's just choosing to go with, Jan and Bob. And so on the last day, I incentivized her. She wanted to go down and do some shopping to find a souvenir. And the on-mountain souvenir shop didn't have what she was looking for, so we needed to go into town. Well, it was a Sunday night, and so I knew it was going to be a challenge to find a place. So I didn't want her to, take off her time on the mountain. So I said, hey, if you do a shoot, which is a big line in the mountains, I'll take you to the store. I'll take you to town. Well, she did it. She handled that big line. So Dustin, when you think of a couple things there, we talk all the time about correlation between business and life and business and, family and sports and all that stuff. What are a couple corollaries or a couple comparisons you could make there into some of our current conversations that we're having with CPA firms?
Yeah, so that, like you said, no advanced prep or anything for this one, so just threw that question right out of the blue at me. I think one of the first ones that comes to mind is don't be afraid to bet on yourself. And that's something that you and I talked about a lot, is even within the framework of a larger organization, bet on yourself and your capabilities and what you're able to do and grow within your career. Don't just get comfortable with what you're doing, but really look at what can I do? What is possible? And when I heard that story, that's kind of one of the first things that came to mind was that, bet on yourself, be confident in yourself. And then another would be along the lines of, motivating the right behavior or incentivizing the right behavior, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we talked about performance and bring that back to the business realm. We talked about having performance metrics that promote the right behavior. So, to get people over that hurdle or to commit to a change or to do something new or different, we have to have the right performance metrics in place. And you found something that, motivated her and was a positive performance metric.
Yeah, and I agree with 100% on those. Good job. I'll summarize it by also adding that when you are instituting something new within your organization, if you have the traditional path there or the safe path there still to take, and you don't come up with those new performance metrics that drive that new behavior, like you said, Dustin, don't be surprised that people don't push through with the new. Yep. Because the tried and true, the been there, done that It's so easy. You know what that is. Part of the change is jumping into that unknown, even though the leaders of the change initiative have gone through, done their due diligence. They know that their team can handle it. If you don't incentivize to get people to take that jump, it's going to be a struggle. So, know that change can be difficult if you leave the old way there. So the way to overcome that is to incentivize the new behavior or the new change that you're looking for. So until the next time.